You used an interesting term. You said analytics engineering. And so
Yes.
is that the same as like data engineering?
So it's interesting that from what I've seen, I feel like it really depends on what company you're at
Sure,
because
sure.
I've
And
been, yeah,
I'm asking like just to get like a like I haven't, I've been like you say, there's new things happening all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
I do a hundred episodes of the show every year. I've got people from all different kinds of data backgrounds coming on, lots of
yeah.
people in data analytics, data science, data engineering. And I don't think I've ever come across someone say analytics engineering. So yeah, so just
Really? Oh, very cool.
yeah, just
That's
like
awesome.
teach me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So at least how it was because it's interesting at CHG where I currently am at, and was similar at Homey too. We had data engineering and then data analytics, and there wasn't an analytics engineering arm in it. And not to say that there isn't analytics engineering going on. I think it's just company to company what they decide to form their teams as. So at Podium, I would say as far as the funnel goes, data engineering would be your first touch point as far as, hey, there's data somewhere. We need to pull it into our database. And they're working a lot on ingestion, making sure, setting up pipelines, making sure things aren't breaking. If they do break, they're the ones that are fixing that. And then the analytics engineering team would be more of the data modeling side of things. So they're going into, for example, at Podium, we're using DBT. And so we're using DBT to model all this data because we have all this raw data, model it to allow for our stakeholders to actually use it in our data visualization tool. And so as analysts, we were primarily working at that time in Tableau. And so we were definitely working cross-functionally with analytics engineering with the data modeling side so they could better understand what we're actually trying to visualize, what's the story we're trying to tell, what's the question we're trying to answer. And so that's essentially how it kind of flowed as far as the data. It would start data engineering, analytics engineering, and then analysts. And as we continued to grow as a team, our analysts kind of started to do some of the analytics engineering work, which was really, really cool. And I don't know, for me, that was really awesome because it allowed me to level up my technical skill set. And I mean, that's also super awesome when your job is the place that you're going and continuing to learn every day. And I think that's one of the things that I love about this field in particular is that, yeah, for sure, there's some days where you're like, okay, I have to do this process. We need this thing to be done. But for the most part, it's this kind of fun world where you don't necessarily have to have done that specific thing before, but you know where to look and you've done certain things like it. So, and in the process, you're learning, okay, that definitely didn't work. Don't do that again. But here's the thing. And that's a fun thing too, I think, especially as much as I think we would all want to just say, oh, yeah, everything worked out the first time I tried it and it was great. But you also realize, again, cliche, but you learn so much more from the things that did not work. And you're like, okay, definitely not going to do that, or that doesn't work for this specific project, but now I know it exists and I now know about it. And I think that's the thing too, is just expanding your horizon of what's out there and what's possible. And I think that's so powerful as just a subject matter expert in data, not necessarily that you have to have done all of these things. Cause I think when I first started, I remember being my first day on the job and reaching out to my sister-in-law, who's a data analyst. And I told her, I was like, okay, I think I need to take these 10 courses like tomorrow because I don't know how to do any of these things. And she was like, Colleen, this is a marathon, not a sprint. But having the context of that there are these tools out there and here's what you could do, I think that's really powerful. And that was really helpful to kind of broaden my horizon of what a data analyst could do. And as much as I love building out visualizations, but I love that there was this other component that I got to dive into and learning more about data engineering and what that looks like. And just knowing more about the process. And I think that context helps a lot when you are speaking to a stakeholder, and it helps with knowing who to go to as well.